You just said 8 and 7. Which one is it? I don't know. This is week 10 Wednesday, semester 2. We're going to be solving inequalities and graphing, apparently. Did she teach you how to graph them? I'm not doing number 6. You do number 6. I'm going to go over number 7 since you already did number 6. Yeah, well, maybe after going over number 7, you should be able to figure it out. For number 7, take the inequality, or excuse me, the -4. You need to grab a separate piece of paper. Grab a separate piece of paper. Take the -4, distribute it in. You get -24x minus 28 greater or equal to 122. Bring down that 6. Combine like terms. -24x minus 22 greater or equal to 122. Add the 22 on both sides. You get -24x greater. Combine like terms. 6 minus 28. 122 plus 22 is going to give you 144. Divided by -24. I can't believe she didn't teach you how to do this, because whenever, this is important, whenever you multiply or divide by a negative number, you need to switch the sign. Do you see that? You got to flip it. Do you understand? Are we dividing by a negative number right here? Do you see how we're dividing by a negative number? When you divide by a negative number, you got to flip it. So that part cancels. X, the sign changes. You flip it over this way. 144 divided by -24. You can go ahead and do that on your own. Give you a -6, which is what you have right there. Okay, here's another rule. If it's like this or this, it's closed circle. Do you see that? Here's another rule. If it's like this or this, it's open circle. Do you see that? You need to write that down. These are the rules that you need to write down, so that way you know. Write it down on your extra piece of paper. Also, if this is eating the letter, you shade to the right, like going this way. Do you see that? If it is eating a number like that, you shade to the left, like that. Okay? So make sure you copy those things down, the one that I just highlighted. These are important to have. Teacher's really not doing you a favor if she doesn't explain this to you. She what? Well, I'm sure that you can also watch a video at home. Did it make sense how we explained it? And she wants you to understand all of this by today. Because this is a lot to understand for a 6th grader. I'm not sure what she expects us to do with that. Okay, moving on to number 8. For number 8, we're going to distribute that -6. Yes? Is that a B? Is that what it is? Okay, so you write down -36B. Is that a -7? Plus 42. And then you write everything else down exactly how it is. 138, right? -138. And is that it? There's nothing else behind it? Okay, next thing that you do, what do I get rid of? You want to get the B by itself. Minus a 42 on both sides. So when you do that, bring down the -36B. This is going to give you a 7, -180. divided by negative 36. Did we just divide by a negative number? If you divide by a negative number, what happened to that sign? Switches. Do you see how it switches? That part cancels. I'm not gonna do the division for you. You're gonna do that on your own. That's gonna give you a 5. If we were to graph this, okay, this is 5, right? Is it open circle or a closed circle? Look at the sign. No, look at your notes. Right or left? Is it eating the letter or the number? Yeah, so if it's a letter, where do you go? Right. Closed to the right. That's how you shade it. Do you see that? Okay. All right. Number 9. What am I doing first? What do I distribute? What's the number in front of the parenthesis? The 7. So it gives you what? Okay, everything else stays exactly the same. What's your next step after that? Good. Next up. Nope. Subtract 20 on both sides. What does that give you? Okay, what's your next step? What happened to your sign here when you divide by a negative number? So, yeah. 147 divided by 49 gives you a -3. Okay, now let's go ahead and graph this. Here is your number line. You have the -3 on top. That -3 is from this number. Open or close circle? Nope, there's no equal sign, so it's open. Right or left? Why? No, because it's eating the number. Do you understand? No, not pointing to the left. It's because it's eating the number. Because if I could point it like this, that's pointing to the right. Does that mean you shade to the right? No. You need to understand it's not the direction where it's pointing. It's eating the number versus eating the letter. That's the difference. Okay. I have to go this really quick because we only have a few minutes. I have to go pick up your brothers. All right, next step. Next question. What do you do first? What do you get? Next step. Not convert. Combine like terms. That's not even a word. What do you get? Next step. Nope. Can't divide unless you get rid of the 37. How do you get rid of the 37? Nope, you don't cross it out. You subtract it because opposite of a positive 37 is a negative 37. You don't just cross something out. You have, for every action, there's a reaction. You got to do something for it to first. Now you can cross it out. What's your answer here? 90. What's my next step? Good. Do I change the sign? Did I divide by a negative number? So then no change. You only change a sign if you divide by a negative number. No, you're dividing by a positive 15. Do you see the positive 15 right there? No change. Yeah, but you're not multiplying by a negative number. It's a positive number. It's a positive 15. It's a positive 15. So whether you multiply or divide it, I'm not multiplying anything. I'm just dividing by a positive 15. So there's no change. All right. Open or close? Open or close? Open or closed? Closed, because there's an equal sign, right or left? Is it eating the number or the letter? So it's going to the, yeah. So let's draw the number line. Here's my number line. Here is number 6. When you do this, it's going to be a closed circle, shade to the right, like that. You see that? Okay, this is going really fast. I'm sorry your teacher didn't go over this, but this is not easy. There's a lot of things to do with this. So I don't really know what she expected to do in just a day, but all right, number 11. First up, what do you do? Combine line terms. The part that I'm highlighting right here. Okay, next up. Opposite of a negative 16. No. You have x's on both sides, which means you're going to move the smaller x. Nope, it's always been the smaller one. Always move the smaller one. Every single video we talked about, you always move the smaller one. I subtracted 4, 7. I subtracted negative 24. Which one? What number? I didn't subtract negative 24. That negative 24 is from negative 4 times 6. Nothing changed. Okay, all right. Bring that down. What am I dividing by? Do I switch the sign? Did I divide by a negative number? Really? Because I'm pretty sure I divided by a positive number. Yeah, but that's not, I don't care about that. I care about this number right there. If you divide by a positive number, no switch. If you divide by a negative number, then you switch. Open or closed? Right or left? Good. Getting better with this. Your teacher should have taught you this. All right, let's graph this. Yeah, I'm not getting really agitated right now. Closed to the right. Do you see that? Okay. All right. Well, next year you'll have a different teacher. So, all right, number 12. You're going to watch this video on your own, okay? First thing, what do? Yeah, when you have 3 terms, you see on the left side, you have 3 terms here. That generally tells you got to combine something. So let's combine it. Negative 7 minus 6x. Okay, next, what do? Now notice you have 2 terms on each side. Always get rid of the smaller, but it's a minus 7, so what do you do with it? To get rid of it, you got to do the opposite. What's opposite of a negative 7? Positive 7. So negative 7 is smaller than negative 6. Here's negative 6, here's negative 7, here's negative 5, here's negative 4, here's 0. That's smaller. It's negative, so it's smaller. In the negative, the bigger number is smaller. Like this is negative 100. 100 will be smaller than negative 7. Okay, bring that down. Next step, what do? Nope, can't divide when you have 3 terms. What do you add? What am I adding? You want to get x by itself. Add the 7 on both sides. X is greater than negative 4. You don't divide anything because it's just 1x. You see that? Okay. Right or left? Or open or close circle? Right or left? Nope. Eating the letter, so it is right. So when you graph this, here is negative 4. You're going to go ahead and draw a open circle shaded to the right, like that. All right, back page. There's a lot over here. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to show you. I have to go pick up your brother soon. So I'm going to have you just start working on this on your own. So go on to number 13, start working on it, Grayson, because there's a lot. So work on it on your own, okay? So 13 minus a is 5, 5 plus that is 11, plus 2v is square root of negative 7 minus v. We're going to go ahead and subtract or get rid of the smaller one. So plus the v on both sides, you get 11 plus 3v is greater than negative 7. Subtract 11 on both sides, you're going to end up with, this part cancels, 3v, I'm going to move this up here, 3v is greater than negative 18, divided by 3 on both sides. Note how it's positive, so sign does not switch, no switch. It's greater than negative 6. So looking at this, it is going to be opened and shaded to the right. Okay, number 15. So combine like terms, negative 11n. Combine like terms, 8 minus negative 9n. Subtract the smaller n. So in this case, add the 11n on both sides. So you get 0, 8 plus 2n. Next, you're going to subtract the 8 on both sides. So you have negative 8 is greater, less than or equal to 2n. Divided by 2 on both sides. And again, no switch, because this is a positive 2. Gives you a negative 4. Once you have this, keep in mind that it is going to be a closed circle, and it's going to be shaded to the right. For number 16, we're going to distribute that 7. So if negative x is less than negative x, 7 times x is a positive 7x, minus 14. Next, you're going to go ahead and combine your like terms. So when I combine this, that gives me a positive 6x minus 14. Here, given the fact that you have x on both sides, but the number's on the right side, I'm going to subtract the 6x here, just so I have it on one side. So I have negative 7x is less than, that part cancels, negative 14. Now, you are going to divide by a negative number here, so make sure you switch your sign. That sign becomes this sign right there. Gives me a 2. Figure it out yourself. So then here, I have a open circle, and it's me shaded to the right. I don't understand why we're going back to. Okay, we're going to continue with number 17. With number 17, what you're going to do is you're going to go ahead and first distribute that negative 7, which then gives you a negative 35n plus 42 minus 6n. Next, since you have 3 terms on the right side, make sure you combine like terms. This will give you a negative 30 or 41 n plus 42. Next step you're going to do is you're going to go ahead and subtract the smaller, or get rid of the smaller n, which is negative 41n. Opposite of a negative is positive. This part cancels, bring down the 42. 6, negative 36 n plus 6. Minus a 6 on both sides. You're going to get negative 36 n greater or equal to 36. Now, you are going to divide by the negative 36 on both sides. N is less than or equal to, and make sure you switch the sign. Notice the switch right there. Switch a sign, negative 1. Which doesn't match that. So let's see, what do we do wrong? Negative 35, positive 42, minus 6n, 41, plus 42, minus 6 on both sides. Add. Oh, because that's a positive. That's why this is a positive, not minus. So, so then hold on a second. Let's go back to this. When you divide, you're going to be dividing by a positive 36. So your sign does not switch. No switch. And that'll give you a positive 1. There we go. Okay. Okay, number 18. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to distribute the 3. 3p minus 9 minus 5p is greater than negative 3p minus 6. Notice on the left you have 3 different terms, so you're going to go ahead and combine them. Negative 2p minus 9 greater than negative 3p minus 6. Now that I have 2 terms on each, you always move with a smaller letter p, which is going to be the negative 3p. After that, that's going to cancel, bring down the negative 6, negative 9, and this gives me just p. You want to get p by itself, so get rid of the 9. That should cancel. P is greater than 3, and that is your answer. So there you go. Number 19. First thing to do, distribute that 7. You get 7k minus 28. Now that you have 2 terms on each side, you're going to go ahead and get rid of the smaller number. Let's watch. Sit down. Just sit down. Or you can watch over here. You want to watch over here? Okay. So then you're going to go ahead and get rid of the smaller k. So smaller k is this one here. So then I have 28. AK minus 28. Your goal is to get at k by itself. So get rid of the negative 28. Opposite of a negative is a positive. That part cancels. This now gives you 56. When you divide it by 8 on both sides, notice there's no switching because you're dividing by a positive. So k is less or equal to 7. That is your answer for number 19. We're just moving kind of quick, okay? Just so you know. Number 20, distribute that negative 4. You get a positive 28x plus 28. On the left side, negative 7x, 28. Now that you have 2 terms on each side, right? You have x and a number, right? There's no combining like terms because we already did that. Move the smaller letter. Smaller letter is this one. So you either do the opposite. When you do that, that part cancel, bring down the 28. This gives you a 35. Now, your job is to get x by itself. X is not by itself. You have a 35 and a 28. Opposite of a positive 28 is a negative 28. So when I divide this, that part cancels. Bring down the 35. This gives me a 0, okay? How do you get rid of the 35? Opposite of a times is a divide. This part cancels. No switch because you divided by a positive 35. Do you see that? That gives me just 0. That's your answer. Okay, number 21. I know we're going kind of fast. I'm sorry. Distribute this. You should have a negative 6 minus 42k. Now distribute this one here. That should give you a positive 7. Positive 42k is less than negative 2. On the left side, there are 4 terms, right? which means you will have to combine like terms. Hold on. Combine your like terms, you get 1. Combine your like terms, you get 0. Do you see how there's a 0 right there in front of the K? Subtract the 1 on both sides. That part cancels. You get 0K is less than or equal to -3. Now, you have to divide by a 0. What happens when you have a number divided by a 0? Emma, anytime you have a number divided by 0, the answer is always no solution. Do you see that? Number divided by 0 is no solution. Now, there's a difference if you have a 0 on top. That is always equal to 0. This is another thing that you need to remember. First one, if the denominator is 0, the answer is always no solution. Second one, if the 0 is on top, the answer is always 0. Do you see that? Okay. All right, 2 more to go. Number 23. First thing to do, you're going to distribute, which gives you 3 minus 6x. Okay, when you look at this right here, notice how you have number letter on the left side, number letter on the right side. So now you always move the smaller x. Well, in this case, they're both the same x, right? So if I just move one of them, see what happens. That part cancels, that part cancels. Well, is 3 greater than 3? No, and there's no x. Do you see how there's no variable? It just got canceled. Do you see the variable got canceled? So it's no solution. You see that?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, number 24. For number 24, first thing I'm going to do, distribute that -2. Distribute that 6. Okay. Now, notice on the left side, 2 terms, number letter, right side, number letter. You always move the smaller x. Which one's the smaller x? They're both the same number. Do you see that? Then what's going to end up happening is this part cancels, this part cancels. -10 is smaller than 48. Is that true or false? It's true. It's true, but there's no variable. So your answer is going to be all real numbers because it's always going to be true. Okay? This is really complicated, and really you should not be going over this in one day. But as long as you know how to solve for this, I'm okay with it. Okay? Well, that concludes everything. Did you have any questions on the beginning of this? Is there anything from the first beginning of this you want me to go over? Like the number 3 and all this other one right here? Okay. Number 6? No, I didn't. Okay, let's go over number 6. For number 6, you just write down the -3, right? That's the first thing. Then you distribute that -6. So you have a -24x minus 36 greater than -111, right? On the left side, you have 3 terms. Do you see that? Which means you have to combine something. That gives me a -39 minus 24x greater than -111. Next, you want to get x by itself. Opposite of a -39 is a +39. Bring that down. This right here is going to give you a -72. Divided by a -24 on both sides. When you divide by a negative, that switches. You got to switch that sign. You see the sign right here? So x is less than 72 divided by 24 is going to give you a +3. That's your answer. Okay? All right, that concludes everything. So I would suggest you practice and do this on your own.